Hello, dear sports family. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the last episode. We got a ton of great feedback, which is so encouraging. So thank you so much. So make sure to continue, like, comment, subscribe, all the things. For today's episode, I have the absolute pleasure sitting down with Baylor Acrobatics and Tumbling, Bayley Humphrey. Bayley was the 2022 NCATA Specialist of the Year, was also named to the NCATA All-American Team, where she helped her team earn their 7th national title. Bayley?
Hi, everyone. It's so good to be here, and thank you for having me on the show.
Of course. Thanks for coming on. So, how is junior year? How are classes? How's it going?
So, junior year is very busy.
Okay.
So, I have classes, and I actually just decided to be a volunteer for hospice.
Oh, my gosh. That's so cool.
And I joined SAC, so that is so
Okay.
exciting. So,
Yes.
just crazy busy, but super fun.
Okay, what are you majoring in?
I'm health science studies.
Okay. Sweet. And so hospice, is that something that you're wanting to go into?
So, I actually want to get my master's as a pathologist assistant and work in autopsy pathology.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Thank you.
What has started that? Is there a certain reason?
So I knew I was pre-med for a while, and I
Okay.
knew I wanted to conduct autopsies and figure out why people died, because I think it's really cool that you can be a voice for somebody who no longer
Yeah.
has one.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah.
That is so cool. And then for SAC, tell everyone kind of what that is. So student athlete
Yeah.
Center for Excellence, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
It's it's kind of like a committee where a bunch of student athletes from different sports kind of come together, and we try to work at community engagement, health and wellness, which is what I'm part of.
Okay.
So we try to conduct events and everything to bring awareness to things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know that you always, for athletes, especially through athletics, it's things are always planned for you. You're okay, this and this and this, and this is happening. But for us to be able to come together and
Yeah.
have a say and get to decide on fun
Yes.
things. I think I went to something and it was a student athlete appreciation night at the
Yeah.
baseball game, and I was this is fun.
Yeah, and
this
it's
is
really
so
cool to have
awesome.
different sports all come together, because it's
Yeah.
different ideas, and we can all represent one another, even though we're part of different backgrounds, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yes, I think it's fun for all the athletes just get together, hang out.
Yep, for
Good
sure.
time. We're fun people. So we wanna
Exactly.
hang out
And
with each
we all understand each other's schedule kind of, so
Yes.
it's we all can come together on one night and be hey, how are you doing? Let's have a goal and let's do it together kind of thing.
Oh, I love that. That's so fun. Okay, so you started at a JUCO, correct? Okay, so how was that for you? Was the plan always to go to a university?
So not until my late senior year, I was on the elite acrobatics team back in Arizona.
Okay.
And we have a thing called Worlds. It's every 2 years. And me and my top, we wanted to try to get on the national team. So I decided to go to community college for a year before transferring to a university.
Okay, and so you are acrobatics and tumbling. Please explain what that is, because I did gymnastics when I was younger
Yeah.
and loved it. But then I got to college and I was hey, acrobatics and tumbling.
Yeah.
It's similar to talk about that. What is
Yeah, so acrobatics and tumbling is a different sport, because it has so many different backgrounds coming together. So you have gymnasts, you have TNT, which is tumbling and trampoline, you
Okay.
have cheerleading,
Yeah.
you have acrobatic gymnastics, and you have so many different backgrounds coming together. So acrobatics and tumbling is kind of a bunch of stunting and acro, but also tumbling. So it's just all coming together in one sport.
That is so cool. So did you start in gymnastics, or how did you get into it?
Yes, so I did artistic gymnastics, which is the vault, bars, beam, and floor.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Up until my senior year of high school, and then I decided I didn't want to do that anymore, but I didn't want to stop being an athlete,
Yeah.
so I joined acrobatic gymnastics for a year, and then I stayed for junior community college, but then COVID hit, so it was only half a season
Okay.
before it got cut off. So I only did acrobatic gymnastics for about a year and a half.
Okay, and so you've only been doing acro for a year and a half?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. That is so cool. So what's your favorite thing about Baylor? How was the transition from JUCO to university?
So Baylor made it really welcoming. I knew I wanted to come here because the moment I stepped on campus, I was this is my home. I just knew. And, being Christian based really helped me with my faith to grow and everything. And I just felt so welcomed, and athletics is amazing here at Baylor. And so they always have your back, academically, which is so awesome, and athletically. So it was a smooth transition.
Good. I'm glad. I feel that's one thing that, especially with the transfer portal and craziness
Yes.
of it, universities are having to find a new way to guide in these transfers? And like,
Yeah.
because I know for freshmen, like a big thing for Baylor is like line camp.
Right.
A lot of athletes can't go to line camp because
Right.
we're busy and season
Yep.
training just doesn't work out. So finding like a different avenue to like get
Yeah.
settled, feel accommodated, it's tough.
Yeah. And I really appreciated that, like, they recognize transfer students because I technically wasn't a freshman coming in.
Yeah.
So it was nice to be, like, recognized as a transfer student and, like, bringing in credits and stuff like that. So it was a smooth transition.
Okay, good. I know I hear like all the scary stories of like like especially from JUCOs, like, oh, like this credit didn't transfer, so like I'm a junior, but like I'm supposed to be a sophomore. I'm like, well, what is happening?
Yeah, I actually had my mom help me a lot with that because I had no idea what was happening. She's like, okay, we need to look up like how does this transfer to Baylor, and what is this and this, and so she helped me out a lot. But yeah, we managed.
Good, you're on it. Got a plan for that stuff. That's so good. So, what can you say you have learned about yourself since coming to college? I know for me, like, first, like trying to figure it out, it was like living on your own, like meal planning, all the things. What was the big transition for you?
I would say the big transition was honestly learning how to like be alone and independent because Arizona was 15 hours away. And, the biggest thing was that it was like when I got hurt my freshman year, when I tore my Achilles, it was really hard because I didn't know how to do it without like my family around, but having my teammates and having everyone around really helped. So yeah, just learning how to be independent and having my own schedule and having to do it myself and like be like, because as an athlete, we're always like time dependent, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it was hard to like figure it out, but once you get in a routine, like you're good to go. So it just takes a minute every year to begin. It just takes a while to get in a smooth, consistent routine. But yeah.
Yes, I know we were talking about it, just like the craziness of season. When an athlete's in season, it's like,
yes,
how you doing? Have you been to class yet? 'Cause it's
exactly.
so tough. Like the travel, you just don't realize that like you want your schedule to be consistent, but it's not. So you have to be able to find, like you said, like the patterns of like consistency and like, okay, like maybe I can make my morning routine consistent just so it feels normal.
Yep, just so you have one thing throughout the day that's like, okay, this is going to happen for sure.
Yes. Yeah, love it. Pros and cons, right?
Yes.
Pros and cons.
Yes.
Okay, so for your position, can you explain like what it is? Did you change positions? How does that all work for acro?
Yes. So I was always a base. Okay. So a base is somebody who is always on the bottom and always doing the one lifting and the throwing and the catching.
Okay.
Yes. So I've always been a base just because I'm tall.
Yeah.
So when I did acrobatic gymnastics, I was a base with one top. But then that's cool with acrobatics and tumbling is you can have many tops. Like you're always working with everybody.
A top. So that's like something like it's like stacking on you?
Yes. Those are like the flyers. They do all like the cool tricks and everything in the air, and we catch them and throw them and hold them up there while they do it.
That's so fun. Okay. So is it like do you have to be at like a certain level to be able to like have certain tops? Is that?
No, I think that's what's really cool is like right now, we're beginning. So we're just learning with everybody. We're just, So I think that's really cool that even as a base, you're topping so many different people. And that's what makes us stronger too.
For sure. That's awesome. That's so cool. So your head coach, Coach Wilke, she's like one of the founders of the sport. Like how cool is that for like your coach to be a founder?
It is amazing.
It's so fun because acro is relatively new, correct?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is fairly new. Just in like the past, I think, decade, it's just grown.
Yeah. So how do you feel like Coach Wilke runs her program because she's like a founder? Like, is there like an expectation you feel that you have to fill, or is there something? Gosh, I don't know. Like, how is it to be coached by a founder of the sport? Like, that's just so cool.
It's truly amazing. And it's funny because she makes it so welcoming and just like, she always just says like, we're like almost her like children, like, she just loves us that way and she wants what's the best for us. Yeah. And at the end of the day, like she chooses us over anything and she has our back no matter what. So I think it's really cool and it's amazing and it's an honor to be coached by her.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for the conferencing part of it, are y'all considered part of the Big 12? Or do y'all just kind of like schedule teams?
So because we're like an emerging, we're like emerging right now. Yes. We have to have like a certain amount of schools competing before we have like an NCAA championship. Okay. So like we are like heading in that direction almost. But I wouldn't say we're like part of like the Big 12. We have like right now we have like D1, D2, D3, and Baylor's one of like the D1 schools. Yes. And so yeah.
Okay. So cool. I love that. I mean, I told you, but I was able to go and watch the 2020 national championship.
Yeah.
And I was just in awe of y'all. Like pure shock. I was like, these girls are crazy, especially when y'all are like running and doing like the dance part and like the big sick 'em at the end. Like, I was like, fire me up. Like, this is so cool. I think I got into it a little bit because Coach Lowe, strength coach.
Yes.
I miss him so
Me too. He was really awesome.
Yes. And so he was always like, oh yeah, like I'm volleyball and acro. And I'm like, Coach Lowe, these girls are jacked. Like, I need to be jacked. Like, are you kidding me? Like, make me an acro person. Like, that's so fun.
Yeah, we really put emphasis in the weight room because that's where we like, Coach V likes to says that's where we build our strength to come into practice and do what we do is in the weight room. That's like our number one priority for sure.
For sure, yes. So what has been your favorite thing about competing for acro?
Oh, my favorite thing is just showing everybody in the stands like what we can do and like the really like what's the really cool part of acrobatics and tumbling is like this is what we do, like, you know, it's just like showcasing your hard work and how like you know, be proud of your team and like this is what we can do, like look at us kind of thing.
Yes, for sure. Gosh, that's really cool. And so you did mention the weight room a little bit. So how, you touched on it a little bit, but like how crucial is that? Did you lift before you came to Baylor? Like, is that just a part of the sport? Talk about that.
I never lifted before I came here, actually.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so coming here, I never lifted really a weight in my life. I know I do dumbbells and stuff, but I didn't even know like what an RDL was. Or
that's crazy.
Yeah, I had no idea. But weightlifting is very crucial to our sport because that's where we get our strength and that's where we get our technique. And so, you know, we really emphasize in that for sure.
Yes, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, CeeLo, he'll get you right. Love that man. But I think like the one thing I loved about Coach Lowe too was like he cared about you more than just an athlete. Like I would go early to practice just to talk to him about like my day or like what was going on in my life. And so I think Baylor does a good job of like doing a good emphasis on like weight training. Like we're going to grind and like we need this to be the best version of ourselves. But like
for sure,
I also care about you as a person, you know.
For sure.
So that's so good.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, so in 2021, you did talk about it. You had an injury.
Yes.
Career or season-ending injury.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, so I tore my right Achilles.
Ugh, okay.
Yeah, I was tumbling and I heard her go, and I was like, oh, that's gone. So yes, I ruptured my Achilles tendon. Yep.
Okay, I tore my ACL my junior year of high school.
Oh yeah.
It's tough. Missed the season.
It was so tough. Yeah.
What was what was the hardest part about that for you?
The hardest part was we were in season, and as a freshman, I was having so much fun just competing and going out there, and then, you know, to have that happen was just devastating. And I know injuries are part of the part of sports, but it always just hurts when, you know, that happens when you're like having, you know, a fun time and having good moments. So.
Yeah. Goodness. What was the recovery time for that in Achilles? That's pretty serious.
Yes. So the recovery time was pretty hard because, you know, you can't walk for like 6 to 8 weeks. And then learning how to walk again, you know, is like a mental game because you have to basically relearn how to walk, jump, run, everything, and like learn to trust it again. And so the recovery time took a while. So a lot of it for me was over the summer because I tore it like beginning, middle season. And so, yeah, when I came back, I still had to, you know, recover because I was still learning how to jump, learning how to do all this. So it took a while, but we're good now.
Good.
She's connected now. Yes. So that's good.
All connected in there. Yeah. I mean, you were like NCAT, like specialist of the year. Like that's so cool to be able to like have that your freshman year, like that trial, and then to like seriously bounce back so quick. How did you feel like your team responded in that moment?
They responded very well. You know, it's so hard when a teammate gets injured and everything, but but they responded very well for sure.
Okay, good. I know that was always one thing. It's kind of hard to sit back and watch your teammates compete, and I'm like, they're doing it without me. Like I'm still here.
Yeah,
so.
They that's the thing though. They were just supportive of me throughout all of it. They're like, you know, and they're just so strong. So even when somebody got hurt, we were able to step in and finish and do what we needed to do because that's just how strong we are. You know what I mean? Like everybody plays a role on the team, and it really showed. That's
awesome. You all have a pretty large roster, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So is it like 53?
Last year was around 50. This year is 43, I think.
Okay, 43. Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Nice. So I want to talk about this a little bit. I know we've been talking about the weight room, but I think it was so interesting how, like, just watching y'all, like, your sport is your body. I am, like, amazed. I think just, like, in high school, it's like, okay, I play volleyball, like, yeah, recover, nutrition, whatever, but, like, So is that changed for you coming to college about like the nutrition and recovery part? Because like if you're not feeling great, you can't throw anybody.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like,
and Coach V likes to say our sport is of angles. And so technique is very, very important. So yes, when you're not at, recovery or, doing all that, then it's hard to do all the correct technique and angles when doing, the skills that we do.
Yeah.
And the tumbling that we do, it's a lot of like pounding and stuff. So recovery is very important.
Yes. Okay. What's your favorite form of recovery? Do y'all have Katie still?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, love Miss Katie.
Love Katie. She got me on needles.
Yes, that's what I do actually.
Okay, y'all. Story. I have like vasovagal, so I will pass out with needles. Like my blood levels flip.
Yeah.
And so my knees were like killing me. And she was like, "Let's try needling them." And I was like, "Katie, I don't think I can do it." I was like, "I'm gonna be laying flat, like whatever." And she did my knees. She did my traps. I'm obsessed. I love it. So you use needles?
Yes.
Okay.
So my calves, like I'm just like a really tight, wound up person, like, with muscles, it's just, and they never loosen.
Yeah.
And so, yes, my calves get so tight. So I get my calves needled. And it takes, I was really nervous, but now I'm kind of used to them. But yes, get those calves needled because it like loosens them more. But if I had to pick a favorite, that would probably be my favorite, believe it or not, is getting needled. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I'm obsessed with it now. I like can't. I'm like, we have Emily as our trainer, but I'm like, Emily, I need my 2-week appointment.
Yeah,
like,
can we get needled?
Yes, like give me the needles.
Yes.
I love it. That's so fun. Okay, so whenever I have an athlete come in, I'll put questions up on the forum.
Okay.
And I'll have the people ask, which is kind of fun. So like you get some interaction.
Yes.
So Ashley Hodge ask, how often do you lift weights? What's your favorite what's your favorite lifting exercise? And what's your least favorite?
Okay, so in our off season, we lift 3 times a week.
Okay.
And when we're in season, we lift 2 times a week.
Okay.
My favorite weightlifting is bench press.
Okay.
I love bench press.
Yes.
My least favorite, probably front squat.
Really? Dang. Yeah. I'm going to have to say I'm opposite.
Really?
Arms for me just are not it's okay.
Yeah, I love bench. Oh,
really?
yes.
Do you know how much you can bench?
So my max so far is 200.
Love it. You're jacked. Oh, I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, I love bench. I'd do it all day if I could.
I love that. Okay. And then Reefy RX asked, do you have any pressure to continue the national championship run BU has been on for so many years?
So it's funny because people ask us that like a lot. We really don't talk about the national we just focus like one day at a time, one practice at a time. When we're in season, people ask us, what about the national championship? That's what I love about Coach Fee too, is she doesn't like look at it that far. She's just like, we need to be in the moment. We need to be present. We need to focus on this meet because that's what's going to get us better for the national championship. And so, we really don't feel pressure because, with our hard work and just one day at a time, we just got to trust the process.
I love that. That's championship culture right there. I feel like if you get so caught up in the moment,
then you can't be present in what's going on. And, she really emphasizes that. And I love that because, one meet at a time, one practice at a time, one moment at a time. And, that's the end goal, yes, but we got to focus on, what leads up to that for sure.
Yes, got to stack days.
Yes.
Coach Lou always said that.
Yes.
Stack days. I
yes.
love that. You really got to build off that. So what's one thing that you think is unique about y'all's culture compared to other programs?
So our culture is truly amazing. Throughout the year you go through, it's really hard, at the beginning of the year because you start over, as a new team. Because even though we just won national championship, this is a new team, right? Good. Who hasn't won anything yet. And so what I love about our culture is we always go through these phases, right? But at the end, we are just all so connected. Everyone has a role on the team. It doesn't matter. We're all there for each other. And in that moment, we all won. And it's amazing. I can't even explain the feeling because it is truly once in a moment kind of thing.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
So have you been on 2 national championship teams?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay. So because you're going to junior year, so just 2. Okay. That's so fun. I love that. Awesome. Okay, and so for my final question, if you could write a letter to sports and could say anything you wanted to, what would you say and why?
So I would say, dear sports, I truly can't put into words how much you have changed my life. As a student athlete, I have been given opportunities I never thought I would get in my lifetime. You have taught me, time discipline, what it's like to be a teammate, a friend, and what it's like to be, a person who, is driven and has determination. I truly can't put into words how much sports has done for me, and I don't know what I would do without it.
Thank you. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the episode with Bayley just as much as I did. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, all the things so you stay updated with Deer Sports. Thank you for listening. Until next time, this is Faith Lynch with Deer Sports.